Byzantine, a federated Byzantine agreement. All right, this is a Stellar is using this. So for TokenNet, we forked Stellar's consensus protocol, and then we altered it just a little bit, and then we put it on for TokenNet. So we have a live network right now. Because our live network is going to use our own consensus protocol that's federated Byzantine agreement, similar to Stellar's, but it's developed by our in-house blockchain developers. And then we have our trust contracts, which is our smart contract system, which you'll go into the details of what that means and what technologies we're integrating for that. And then our human identity authentication, which is with homomorphic encryption, iris scanning, right, validating you are you, and you are tied to a wallet or multiple wallets, multiple nodes. And with that, then we can do one vote per person, per human being on our network. And like I said, if you read the white paper before, it said that if you had one node, it'd be one vote, but if you had 10 nodes, it'd be 10 votes, right? Because there was no way for us to validate that those wallets were tied to a particular person. But with homomorphic encryption and with the expertise we're getting from partnerships, from KAIST, from the research institute that we're developing, we're establishing in June, called ARIST, A-R-I-S-T, which is basically across the street from KAIST, but it's independent. Then we're going to integrate those technologies in, and we can do a one person, one vote on our network. So, and then you have to do trust contracts and common, and then that's it. Next one. So we talk about modified federated Byzantine agreement, right? It's about open membership is one of the key features that we have to why it's modified. Stellar's is MFBA, or FBA, and it's closed. So it's very manual to, if we have a live network, and you acquired 40 BOScoins after 6 months and the network is live. With Stellar, it's very hard to add another node into the network. From my understanding, basically, you almost have to shut the entire network down and just manually add a node, which isn't something that's really doable because we want to have it more dynamic. And we want to make it easier. If 6 months down the way, someone owns 40,000 BOScoins, then we want to allow them into the network where it's easier. So open membership is one of the key features that we're integrating into Stellar. Right. Use Stellar, integrate our own, and then also secure scalability. And then with scalability, right, we're talking. Our initial target was 1,000 transactions a second, which is way more transactions a second than we would need for what we're doing. And other projects are claiming transactions per second that are much higher, but they are doing something different than us. So it doesn't really apply. But for us, more than enough capacity to do what we're going to be doing.
But, sorry.
Yes?
So you increasing it to 5,000?
Yeah, we already met our 1,000 transactions a second. And so we were like, the new target is 5,000. So now we're even way beyond the amount of transactions a second than we needed before, and now we're even gone past it because the CTO with his development team just did too good of a job basically, and we blew the original target out of the water, and now they have a new target of 5,000 transactions a second. So if you have an understanding of the total blockchain market. On January 4th of this year, there were 3.5 million blockchain transactions in the entire space. That's Ethereum, that's like every blockchain project that I could find, that we have metrics on anyway. So how accurate those are, I don't know. But with our 5-second block times, that equals about 200 transactions a second. That's the most that have ever existed, and now we're around 1 million transactions a second. We get it on a daily basis, but 3.5 million on January 4th. That was 200 transactions a second. So if all the blockchain projects just stopped and everyone moved to us, we were originally going to have 5 times the capacity to meet current demand for blockchain, and now we're going to far exceed that. So
why do you do that? Why do you spend efforts, money, developing it to some higher standard that are not required? Why don't you focus on something that needs really further development?
think those were estimations, and when they programmed
Yeah.
they found out that the speed was higher. So I don't know
Yeah,
if that was intentional
they
or
finished
just,
tweaking it, and they found out that we blew the thing. So I don't believe that getting to 5,000 is, you know, a really high priority for them, because we've already far exceeded the transactions a second. But that's CTO.
Yeah, the speed of transaction completion is matter of the how we use our BOScoin can be possible in real world. Yeah. So the speed of transaction, yeah,
Right, I admire that you superseded your goal,
yeah,
really well done. But now you come up with a new goal,
Yeah.
which, if I listen to it very carefully, is something that is irrelevant for the future.
yeah, right. Yeah, it's the future goal. Yeah.
blockchain will
Yeah.
grow. That's first, and I don't know if that was intentionally or they just discovered it was faster, because those were assumptions, right? Before they start developing, they
I would
made
imagine
assumptions.
that getting to 5,000 isn't like the highest priority
No,
for them, and because we have trust contracts, we have governance that are.
it's not like they're working every day
So-
to get it faster and stuff. But
Yeah.
that's just how.
This is not first priority. This is not.
Yes.
Yeah, there are some kind of we need some balance to complete together, trust including trust contract and corresponding, but just improve the performance is the top priority of our mission. Yeah.
So it's not like it's taking up all the time or something to work on that. That's not the
Yeah,
case.
that's basically the
Right.
Yes. Okay.
No, yeah,
Yes.
because it was there as a
Right. I mean,
No,
I
it's
just
not
found
a goal
out
on its
that.
own. You know, it's like it's in the flow, in the workflow. And it's not like they're spending all their time on making it faster, because we grow as we go, right? That's
The
how.
original development time, it was already found out. Did it exceed?
Yes. Yes.
So
So
far,
basically, the code is that good that it.
Yeah, one thing clear is 1,000 TPS is our current performance of our tokennetYeah,
right.
yeah, we are trying to improve from the tokennetYeah, for 5 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, look, so in the future, what it really comes down to is we don't have a scalability problem, at least for our network. Now, I mean, I hope that our network grows just so fast that it becomes a problem, because that's the problem we want to have.
You don't have to hard fork like we.
Right?
No.
I think we
no,
have
no worries.
I think we're gonna have enough of a development timeline that we can, you know, we can tweak our performance
Yeah.
to get to where we need to go. But we're far exceeding what we're gonna need to have a smooth network.
And it's good to know we're scalable, right? So that's.
I mean, I hope years.
How many
Right.
Bitcoin transactions and Ethereum transactions? Well, you just mentioned
Right.
the numbers, but
It will grow.
No, I
Your
mean,
organization will
here's an
grow.
example, right? We CryptoKitties, right? Destroyed Ethereum for weeks.
yeah.
No one even noticed on our network. Like it was just, oh yeah, CryptoKitties, and then
How many? Do you remember how many transactions?
I mean they had 30,000 in one day, and it destroyed their network.
Yeah.
Because there just wasn't enough bandwidth for them. And I did the calculation, and it would have been like 30 seconds, right? I mean, so 30,000 transactions hit, and ours, it wouldn't have been a problem. It might have slowed down our network a little bit, and that's under our old network, and now we're far exceeding that, so it wouldn't have even been a problem.
Yeah. So
With our
so
on our
makes-
token net right now.
So it really makes sense to have this
Yeah.
type of numbers for.
Yeah, when somebody.
It is. It's important,
Yeah.
but it's not depending on what your use case is, right? I mean, if we're hitting Ethereum's numbers like today, then we're fine. It's not even a problem for us.
Ethereum is struggling.
They are, yeah, but they're using a different consensus protocol. They were created 3 years ago. Proof of work.
Second layer now, I think also.
I mean, we're proof of stake. We're different consensus protocol, different use case. Right, with public financing, we're not ICOs. We're not. We're doing decentralized applications. True. We're a blockchain company. True. I mean, what the similarities really are, we're using different technologies, different consensus, different. I mean, really everything.
Will scaling always be on-chain, or will there also be development like Lightning?
Like an off-chain, like Bitcoin. I mean, right now we don't even need to worry about going off-chain.
That's what I'm-
But later on, I'm sure that if that's a problem, then that's something that obviously that could be integrated into almost any blockchain technology if it's needed.
It's rather easy to port to Lightning Network if needed, I think.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's something we don't even need to worry about at this stage in our development, though. But I know a lot of other platforms, like Bitcoin, yeah, Lightning Network is a huge deal for them. I'm waiting to see how that progresses. But their transactions per second are so slow, it's so slow. An hour and a half for me to get my paycheck every month. I mean, really? I mean, seriously, I get paid in Bitcoin, it takes me forever. So the market goes down $500 by the time I get paid, and then I can cash out to pay my rent.
Yes.
You know, BOScoin doesn't have that problem. So our consensus protocol is called Isaac. That's just the name of it, and it's the modified federated Byzantine agreement, which is using Stellar as a template. Development in the initial development was in Python, and then it's going to be in for testnet. What language?
Our testnet is written in Golang.
Golang. Okay, Golang. Okay.
Go language. Yeah.
All right. So you see, I had to ask for that clarification because I knew they were doing Python, and originally it was in D.
Yeah, right.
Originally it was in D. For the white paper, it was going to be written in D-Lang, and then now it's going to Golang. So here, the reason it's called Isaac, right? It's part of the steps in our consensus. Initial, init, sign, accept, all confirm. So that's where Isaac comes from, if you were wondering. And then here. So what federated Byzantine agreement really means is, right, we have quorums, which are groups of nodes that you have a transaction, it goes through the Horizon server, gets routed to your node, randomly assigned, and you're part of a quorum, and you're part of a quorum, and he gets the transactions, he validates a block every 5 seconds, and then he validates it, then you cross-validate it, so it's confirmed, and then those transactions are broadcast to the greater network, to the other quorums in the network, and then there would be another block is given over to CTO, and he does the same thing. His quorum, he validates it as a node, then he cross-validates it with the quorum nodes, and then that's broadcast down to the larger network, and that every 5 seconds. And that's federated Byzantine agreement. All right, and yeah, and then that's basically what that stands for. That's how Stellar works, basically, and that's how we're working, basically, without getting too complicated. And I'm not a developer. I just learned this stuff, and I talk about it every day. For trust contracts, talking about trust contracts, but what are trust contracts? Well, trust contracts do this. We're using web ontology language, which has been around for 30 years. So it's not a new technology that we developed. Timed automated language, also a very old technology that we're incorporating in to trust contracts. So with web ontology language, we're going to be a decidable smart framework, and it's going to be human readable, machine readable. So like my expectation, and CTO can confirm this, but when I start doing workshops on trust contracts, my expectation is after, say, a session or two, if I put a trust contract on a screen or give it to you, you should basically know what's going on with it. So it should be easier to write as a programmer and to read if you're reviewing. And then it's decidable, which we'll talk about the definitions of these in the next couple slides. Okay? And what CTO said, this is the whole slides, he has to give me a new one.
You have got two languages that you combine that together.
Yeah, for trust contracts. So you have the web ontology language, and then you have time automated language for the logic. And that's based on, so instead of a gas, it's based on time.
Right.
Right, and then how that works, CTO can probably elaborate better on how that's functioning. I haven't learned that yet.
So that the time automated language is just there as a mechanism to drive?
Yeah, we will create a DSL, domain-specific language, combining ontology and time TAL, time automated language. So we must create and provide human readable using ontology, and we can provide decidability through TAL, time automated language.
And that's also then the trigger for
right, the same
your
in
contracts.
one language. Yeah.
So web ontology is basically the data, right? The data layer.
It's how the logic.
Yeah, ontology logic.
Expression.
Okay.
Yeah, so with those Yep, and then so web ontology, this is basically like what it is from the web ontology OWL, right, website, right? And one of the key features for web ontology is the ontologies, right? So there's going to be definitions, global definitions for what terms mean, what classes, properties, and instances, right? What do those mean? So when you write a trust contract with a ontology, with the basic understanding of the concepts, what you're using, then it's the same proof, it's the same reference points as everyone is using. So you're able to, like, you can read his trust contract and you can know what's going on with it easier. You're using the same ontologies. So they use it in linked data, they use it in a lot of stuff.
You were using trust contracts instead of smart contracts.
Well, I mean, trust contracts are our version of smart contracts.
I know, yeah.
Right.
But what is the advantage compared with a smart contract?
Well, like with Ethereum, so you have human readable, machine readable, right? And so it's easier to write and to read, right? So that's one thing, right?
Yeah, that's one thing, but
Decidability.
And there's decidability.
No one can convince.
Go next slide.
Trust contract. How much time is
Decidable.
spent to complete the
Yeah.
code?
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So here's a definition of decidability and what that means.
it causes various kind of difficult or problems in entire network. If some contract to complete his code 3 minutes or 1 hour, nobody knows. Yeah. So we provide the decidability. This code must be complete in 1 hour or 1 second. Yeah. It provides using TAL. TAL. Yeah. Time to alternatives. We provide combine TAL in our trust contract.
Yeah.
So you have the states, right? You have the, like, state A, state B, state C, or it's like at any point in the operation of the trust contract, you will know what state you're in,
Yeah.
right? And it's non-Turing complete, so it's not going to be infinite.
That sounds good, but there are no disadvantages if you compare with smart contract or
It's safer because
Well,
Ethereum,
what's the negatives? He's saying what's negative.
Yeah.
So,
negatives, yeah.
yeah, what's the other side? We're going to say positives, of course, all day.
Everybody is using smart contracts and you are
Yeah.
having, you're using trust contracts. Is there something that,
Yeah, I don't know. He's going to keep that.
No, it's more, are there negative sides
Yeah.
to the trust contract or?
Yeah. Is there an answer? Or what are the negatives to? What's the negative? So,
What are the negatives?
so the positives. We've already talked about the positives. What are the
Yeah,
negatives?
it is the one thing is negative side is difficult to implement. Yeah. Difficult to make it.
Oh, so at the core level.
Yeah.
So the integration into our blockchain is the hard part. Then you're dealing with that. That's your hard part. It's his hard part.
Most of the scientists or theorists already imagined this kind of thing, but they did not. The one thing difficult is we will make this happen.
it's a challenge.
Yeah, it is difficult.
Yeah. So I mean, from what I know, I don't know the entire. Yes.
Sorry, you mentioned that it's not Turing complete, right?
It's non-Turing complete, so it's decidable, right? So it's based on time instead of gas. So gas is the trust contract goes to it runs out of gas, unless you're parity and then you delete a library and then it's looping forever and then everyone loses $150 million.
Is that a possible negative compared to Ethereum, for example, or don't see it as well?
No, because we're non-Turing complete and with decidability, that's, I mean, from my understanding, that's something that wouldn't happen on our network.
Yeah.
Like at least that thing. I mean, obviously there's other issues. I have to learn more about it, but because we're not Turing complete, and with our decidability, the contract would have a state, and if it returns a state that you don't intend, then it would return back. It wouldn't just go forever. It's one of the benefits, and we're going to talk about benefits all day. So the negative to our decidability, our trust contracts, is the integration into blockchain, which is probably one of the reasons we're the only ones doing that. Right?
More complex.
Yeah.
Well, I have one more question. Is that okay?
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead.
About the decision making.
Yeah.
Decision making of
The governance.
If you have one node, then you can you have one node.
One vote, yes. He was a person,
So,
he's a
and
human
then
being.
there are projects, and then you can vote. But I was a bit worried when you asked about some details of a project. When someone is, a few guys are offering a project and there is going to be a vote, how much details do we have? And I'm a bit concerned if it's if you don't get too much details. That
Say
it's-
you're a random person on the street and you want to do a proposal,
Yeah.
and the community asks you for details and you don't provide it, then I wouldn't expect your proposal to get approved. Like, I wouldn't approve it. I'll be a voting member, just like,
Okay.
everyone's gonna be a
So,
voting member.
In future, if there's a project, then we get enough details for what is.
Yeah, you request votes from the person submitting the proposal, and I would expect that if they don't give you the information, the expected ROI, what are the benefits for your project, then you won't get approved, you won't get funding. So, I mean, that's an expectation that I have. And we're gonna have a template, they're working that out now through these trial projects that we're doing, right? The initial projects, and working through the logistics of, well, one, the trust contracts, proposal, the governance, how that's gonna work, and then we have a real project we're planning on doing, and working through those on testnet. So, like what they're saying basically is during testnet, we're gonna have a live project that's gonna go through the entire system and make sure that there aren't any problems. Testnet, and then we can fix those on testnet, and then when we go live, and when you do a proposal, then all those things will be worked out, including the template and the information that we expect a proposal to have, like before it's released, before it's accepted into the network. Good. Okay, next one. So so we talked about human identity authentication. We kind of covered this already. So you're like homomorphic encryption, and there's a detailed definition, basically from the internet, on what homomorphic encryption means. But it's one person, one vote, right? You are validating yourself with your iris scan, right? So that your iris, when you initially validate yourself as a human being, and you link yourself to your wallet, then that information is encoded on the blockchain in homomorphic encryption. And then go to the next slide, it talks about homomorphic encryption. So what homomorphic encryption does, right, it uses encryption on the blockchain, and with this technology, then when you validate yourself, then you don't need to decrypt the information. The iris information is encrypted, and you're computing that iris scan, you're validating that information that it's the same without decrypting it. So you're not, the privacy, right? And it's also one less thing you gotta do, so it's like less computing power, right? And it's increasing, so you don't have to share private keys and all that. You do it, it's your data. And then, so someone else tries to validate onto you, tries to say he's me, right? It comes back negative, right? It doesn't validate it, but my information is still encrypted on the network. And there's also, this is the first use case for homomorphic encryption, but then obviously there's data, right? Other data can be put onto a blockchain network that can be encrypted. So obviously there are other use cases that are after this technology is established and stable on our network, and then as a developer, you can actually utilize this technology for your own project, and just figure out, like, I can use this for this use case, and then do a project. All right. Good. Great. So talk about the voting protocol. Yeah. Just a basic. Not going too deep into the voting protocol. All right. We're talking about one person, one vote. We've already really covered it a lot already. So, yeah. So there's frequently asked questions. So about how you can be like participate in the network. All right. Obviously, you can be a token holder right now. We have a live network. We're on KuCoin, so you can, if you want to be a node operator on our network, you can buy BOScoins with the expectation during mainnet of being a node operator and helping to power our infrastructure. Right, you can join our forum at forum.boscoin.io. At our Slack, at the very bottom of the homepage is a link for a forum where you can select join the Slack, and it'll email you automatically an invite to the Slack, the English Slack, and I'm there managing that. And I'll answer any questions that you may have tomorrow or whenever. It's one of the main things that I do is engage the English-speaking world in the Slack. And I'm also in the Korean, but I'm also in the Korean Slack, but I have to Google translate that because I don't speak Korean. But I try to help out there too. Meetups, we're obviously here in meetups, you know about that. And then if you go into the Slack, I can give you more information. I have a very detailed explanation of like YouTube channel. We have other forums like Reddit and other community websites, other forums and such. Videos, there's a bunch of videos that Yezun, our CEO, has done explaining some of these concepts. And then there's going to be more of those going to be uploaded to YouTube. I expect to see him on YouTube a lot eventually. We'll have to do another AMA every once in a while, every month, every 2 months. We'll do an AMA where you go to the forum and you would like ask your question, and then he'll answer it on video. Right, and he speaks English, and the other Yezun doesn't really speak English that well, so he can answer in English, which is great. Yezun does a really good job speaking English, though. What's up?
Is this not like one of the fundamentals for a community to share language?
Well, I mean, the global community is in English, and then there's a Korean. Then it's a Korean-based project, and there's like 1,500, 1,700 people in the Korean Telegram chat. And we don't have an official English Telegram, but we have the Korean Telegram. So you go to our Slack, you go to the forum, Reddit, and then there's some other development for the developers amongst us. There's
Stack Overflow.
Yeah, Stack Overflow for technical Q&A, and then what other areas for? There's the GitHub, which is the next slide.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we have the GitHub, which has the tokennet version, open source. We have the Isaac protocol, the consensus protocol written in Python. That's on in the GitHub. When we open source testnet, that'll be on the GitHub, so you can check out the code and make any kind of recommendations or whatever.
And do you have more marketing plans to promote your
As we get, we're ramping up marketing. We're doing more press releases. We're doing more like meetups. We haven't done when we're here talking to you as a marketing effort, right? One thing I'll say about marketing is marketing isn't the most important thing for us right now. Where we've been focused on development, we've been engaging in the community, answering questions, educating people on our platform. But we're not doing CoinMarketCap banners, and we're not
I understand, but
selling out consensus and doing all that crazy stuff.
there are
But
several kinds of marketing. So
right, yeah, we're doing one type of
Do you
marketing.
think it will grow by itself? So
We are.
the marketing or everything.
Organic growth through engagement is what we're really focused on right now. And as we mature as a platform and get people on board with us, and we're releasing more press releases, we're getting more information out into the public about what we're doing.
Yeah.
And that's the type of marketing that we're doing.
Yeah. But you have a lot, because I asked it because you have a lot of competition. There
Yes.
are a lot of protocol coins, so I think
Yeah.
you need a good marketing strategy to just, in my opinion, to just.
But the best marketing is always a good product.
Yeah. We're focused on that, and then we have with our business strategy with public financing to
But there are
drive
all no-
growth and
products.
onboard. It's right. You tell people we have public financing. Let people understand what public financing is. Trust contracts, how to develop our platform, onboard people, products and services, and they would do marketing for their own product.
Okay.
Right.
Do
And
you have
then,
like a separate marketing team?
yeah, I mean, like Douglas over there, he's a marketing expert.
He's absolutely correct.
He is.
More marketing.
Well, yeah, and I'm trying to say we are doing more marketing,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying what kind of marketing we're doing now.
Marketing, we're going to send to get on it.
Okay. So it's coming.
Yeah, it's all this.
Yeah,
Alright.
But yeah, he's totally correct.
yeah. I mean, we're not ignoring marketing.
We're going to make some more noise.
Yeah. Okay. So next one. We're near the end of the presentation. So I'll talk about resources. Like I can email this to you. So if you have my business card, you can email me, and then I can give you all the information, answer your questions further on. Join the Slack. Anything. Really, I'm here to answer your questions, to educate you, anybody in the world about BOScoin. So, next one. And that's it. All right. So we have lots of questions. Anybody else have anything?
Basically just one, because I'm going to write a little article for the Dutch crypto blog, Crypto Butter, you might know it. Is there an A4 or two A4 with a summary of everything? Maybe this slideshow is...
Yeah, I can give you a slide deck, and I can give you, I have a short description, I have a long description of like really what we're doing.
Long one.
Yeah, I have a long
Then I can
description that
summarize
integrates in.
myself.
Yeah, I mean, I can give you that, you email me,
Yeah,
Right, our
just
Slack, and I can give that to you.
A promotional article.
yeah, I can give you
Contact me.
the information, I can, yeah, that's what I do.
Should I reach out to you or
Yep.
to Wouter?
You can reach out to me, it's fine, if you email him, he's gonna email me anyway.
Yeah.
For both?
I'm gonna send your email to him anyway. So.
Yeah, you just email me,
I will.
you know.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm the main point of contact for all engagement with the English-speaking world. Hello.
Hi.
Yeah.
I was wondering, so I was checking your white paper and
Yeah.
but I saw your team, so and I saw some people on your page. So is that the whole team, or how many people do you have?
Yeah, it's grown, yeah, so they can answer that. It's grown since the last time I went to Korea.
In Korea, there are almost 30 people working together. And
Okay.
Currently, we develop with almost 13 developers work together. Yeah, 2 people joined this month, so 13. Yeah, developers work
13?
together. 13.
Join
Yeah.
this one.
2 people
No,
joined,
2 people. Okay.
join our team in this month.
All right.
So almost 30 people, 30 developers will work together end of this month. Yeah.
So basically, there's a
That's a good.
total 30 people right now, 13 core developers, and we have like 5 planning, and a few designers, and then a few app developers, and some management team.
All right.
So yeah, we're expanding.
Yeah, and then there's also the KAIST team, the group, the ARIST team, which is a research institute, which is going to be stood up in June. Right now they have like 3 people, and they're expected to have about 20 people that's going to work on the consensus protocol, home for encryption, public financing, really the core technology research for our platform. And that's a separate institute. Those are really like, you know, master's, PhD level researchers at the major, like what, the MIT of Korea. Yeah, those are you know, professional people. So
It's better than MIT.
better than MIT, yeah. They're the MIT is the KAIST stuff.
Yeah, you had a bit of a delay in the development and everything,
Yes.
so you were delayed for a couple of months, but you're now on schedule.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, what he told me at lunch today was Q4 for mainnet, which is November, December, and then we're going to release testnet in June. So, and it's obviously depends on integrating everything in the testnet, and we'll keep the community updated on that progress. And testnet is going to be open source. CTO. Open source. Testnet. When are we going to open source testnet?
Yeah, so
Yes, every our product will be released as open source.
yeah.
Right. So you'll be able to follow testnet
Mm.
on the GitHub, and you basically can see for yourself how far along we are. And then, so we have a timeline based on real code in a GitHub that you can review yourself, which is what everyone asks for,
That's great.
right?
Is it now also possible to create a node, or is it? I'm not sure.
No, during testnet it'll be public, right? Public nodes.
Okay, so begin June. So,
In June, you
or
will release testnet publicly. There'll be clients. You
Right.
can run a node and testnet yourself and review the code and everything.
For testnet, you don't need BOScoin or
No, that'll be for mainnet only. It'll be a wallet that's a testnet wallet that'll be pre-populated with test coins.
right?
Yeah,
And these are distributed on demand. So
it'll be like you create a wallet. What happened when they did their initial test wallet for TokenNet? It was populated with 10,000 BOS points. These are just test coins, it doesn't matter. So you create a wallet, because you have to have a wallet to link it to a node. So when you create the wallet, I assume it'll just be created with the amount of BOScoins you need to be a validating node on our network. And then for the node process, right, I'm gonna help do he's gonna give me instructions and I'll go through it and I'll do the English and translations or whatever. But at least I'll help with it. But you'll do the code, right? And one of the steps in validating, you have to put your public key, your public address into the node, right? You keep your secret seed, your private key secret, of course, and you're not going to give that to a cloud provider. You have your public address, you give your node on DigitalOcean or AWS your public address, then it validates that you have X amount of BOScoins in your wallet frozen, and then now you have a validating node on our network. You download the blockchain, and there you go. Should be very similar to other networks. Yes, Sanjay?
There's also a freezing reward calculator on the...
There is. Yes, for mainnet. Yeah.
Where is this number based on?
The freezer rewards are 5,400 BOScoins are allocated to the entire network. So a node has at least 4 units, 40,000 BOScoin. But you don't need to have 40,000 BOScoins to be freezer rewards. You need at least 10,000. So it's per unit, per 10,000 coins frozen. So he has 10,000, he gets 1 unit worth of that 5,400. And then you have 10 units, if you get 10 units worth of 5,400. So it really depends on the total amount of units that are frozen across the entire network. And so it would be, you get that percentage, small percentage.
And also the amount of nodes which are in the network.
Yeah, I mean, the expectation is 2,000. I mean, okay, so on TokenNet right now, there's like 1,700 wallets with more than 40,000 BOScoin. Like, it was like 1,730 or whatever, so you can say less than 2,000 nodes. I mean, not all of them are gonna have nodes, obviously, so maybe 1,500 to 2,000 nodes on the network.
So
We won't know until mainnet, really.
sorry. So if you're less than 2,000, then you're not able to get those freezing rewards, right?
You get the freezing rewards if you just have a wallet on the network, like you just have own coins in the online wallet. We have an online wallet, and we'll have the client node can be used as a desktop wallet. And then I assume that there will be third-party wallets that will be generated by people in the community, right? Just like Ethereum, like all these other blockchains. You own BOScoins in a wallet. You don't own it, you don't have 40,000, you're not running a node, you just freeze them. So you're taking them out of circulation, but you still own them.
Yeah.
And then you get your percentage of BOScoins every hour.
Yeah, and then those current BOScoins here are also frozen? Or?
Yeah, and then those would just go to your wallet. And then you're freezing them in 10,000 increments. So if you have more than 10,000, if you have 15,000 BOScoins, 10,000 are frozen and 5,000 aren't. And then when you get to 20,000, then you can freeze another 10,000. Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions? Yes.
I remember from the white paper, but it's a long time ago, so I don't remember the 2 names that you were also planning to release 2.
Oh, the D apps. There's the Stardac and then Delicacy.
Yeah.
Delicacy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one's the
How it plans.
Yeah, one was Stardac, which was the celebrity application, or the popularity app, and then one was like a governance app. Yeah, those were released. I don't. Doug, can we say anything about Stardac?
Portrait rights license issue, but
Yeah.
it should be right.
For Stardac.
Well, we're stuck.
We're stuck. Well, yeah, for compliance, like regulatory. Yeah.
The application itself is almost ready, but we have these the regulation, the portrait rights of the celebrities and the license issue.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So, and then every country has different rights on that. So whether we're going to do Hollywood stars or each country have different stars, so we'll figure out the arrangements. Yeah. But it probably starts Hollywood and the Korean stars first.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, and then delicacy.
Democracy, it's all democracy. It's on hold.
And hold.
Yeah, it's on hold for now. Yeah.
So there's that. Yes.
Yeah, just curious.
Yeah, no problem. It's a valid
I
question.
remember them from the white paper.
No, that was a while ago, so yeah, no big deal. Yeah, great. Yes.
A lot of regulatory issues now in Korea the last couple of months and last week again, you know,
Yeah,
compliance-wise, jumping into exchanges and all. What's your view, or what's the view of the manager in respect of that going forward?
Compliance issues in Korea. I
Government doesn't like
yes.
ICOs and coins
Yeah.
in general, I guess.
Well, I mean, when it comes to generally, we did our ICO before a lot of those, so we're not doing ICOs. We're not doing ICOs on our platform, so ICOs don't really affect us. That new regulation, like that regulation, actually helps us. It actually drives people to our public financing model for like at least the ICO regulatory
So
issue.
you have, the whole system is compliant, regulated by the government in Korea.
Yes, yeah, we're compliant because we didn't fall into the security major. Korea follows sort of like US SEC rules and stuff. So I think we're okay with the compliance. But there's no certain regulation in Korea yet. They're still allowing us ICO, they're still allowing everything, but they're just not keeping an eye on it. So it's not really a standard regulation yet. But so we're sticking with the lawyers and legal issues together with the.
But you think you can overcome the problems that
No,
the government
shouldn't be a
sees at
problem.
this moment?
No. And then our foundation is Swiss. We just got the Swiss FINMA auditing is done, so we're okay with the regulations and all the compliances.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we, obviously we move into other countries like Europe has obviously compliance regulatory issues. And I know that there's a legal department. We have lawyers and we have a legal department that they're going to be obviously consulting with a U.S. lawyer. I had a good long talk with a U.S.-based compliance securities lawyer about consulting with us about moving into U.S. for public financing and everything. So that's someone that we can utilize to make sure that we're not violating and we're going to be good for the U.S. as we develop our platform, we move into the U.S. market. And then obviously Korea.
Do you think that the SEC will accept the
No,
BOScoin?
we don't have SEC standard in Korea, but we tend to follow US.
Yeah, yeah, it's so gray area and the SEC hasn't really, even Ethereum, they haven't really come out with a determination. Although the chairman of the SEC said, Ethereum's not a security. He said that in like a talk. But they haven't they issued some guidance. It's all very vague. And then they have public statements, all the top people, but they haven't really.
Regulations now in place, so do you think
Yeah,
that-
so it's a regulatory uncertainty is what I get a lot of times from lawyers. And then as they develop, we believe we're fine as a blockchain from what we're doing. I believe I've done analysis, I've looked at the SEC, and I believe we're fine. But I'm not a lawyer, but I've talked to lawyers. And we're going to be engaging them to make sure that we're compliant and we're good moving forward in all the different jurisdictions that we're going to be operating in. And that's really what we need to do.
Regulation, we're doing terrible job in marketing. I'm being totally honest.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's it. What's up?
So what is the reason that you came to Amsterdam to speak to 25 people? I think you're here with 6-7 people of your own. What's your goal or purpose? What's the reason to come?
Well, we're engaging people. Walter originally had this meetup plan and he was going to do it himself. We're just going to, give him the slides and he was going to be here by himself. We have a conference in Prague that we're going to be doing in a few days. So it was actually really easy for us to come here, engage with people in person here, and then also in Prague in a few days when we go there for a conference. And we're going to do a meetup. And
we'll do this like every month.
Okay.
yeah, and then I do meetups in Dallas and San Francisco, and I travel mostly in the States because that's where I'm based at and that's where my focus is. And then we're trying to integrate like organizers, like local organizers like David in Belgium, and then Walter here, and then try and kickstart the community. and then really just educating people about what we're doing and what we're building. And then we don't mind flying. I mean, I'll fly to Russia if there's enough people. I mean, really, I've told people there's a local guy in St. Petersburg, right? Yeah, setting up a meetup, and that's something that we may do.
Prague, it's going to be the same kind of meetup? Or
Yeah, basically, we're going to basically do the same presentation. We have a guy, Prokop, who's there, local community member since the beginning, set it up for us.
And we have a conference in Prague.
And we have a conference there,
Also.
blockchain conference, yeah. What we try and do is we try and marry meetups with conferences, like really at the same time.
Combine both.
Right, so you have the conference people, and then you have the other people that are in the area that aren't going to the conference. So we try and talk to as many people as we can.
Personally,
Yes.
So I've got one question. Yeah, maybe I'm misinformed. I was hearing some rumors that the CEO left the company recently. Can you say anything about
No, we have the CEO got promoted to be the chairman of the foundation.
Okay.
So he's Inwan was the CEO, and he moved to chair, president.
He didn't get promoted. He was already chairman.
Yeah.
He was doing co-ed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then so he's doing that. So he's just focusing on the foundation.
So he's just focusing on the foundation now. So
Yeah.
part of development or part of the foundation? Yes.
Yeah. The CEO now is the CTO. So he's basically the architect of our platform, and so he basically took over CEO, and then Minyo was the #1 developer, and so he took over CTO.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So it's just, operations, it's just slight organization, reorganization of the foundation and the company. Yeah, but it doesn't impact our development or anything.
I understand. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Yes.
Are there plans to get any hackathons?
Any hackathons?
Yeah.
I mean, well, we could do hackathons, but we need trust contracts to be live on at least testnet first. But yes, that's something that I would love to do.
Cool.
So I would love to organize those, but we need to have a working testnet with trust contracts, with documentation, because that's really the basics before you can do something like that. Yeah, but that's something where I definitely would like to do at a conference at like a large city where there's a lot of developers. Like I'd like to do it in Dallas. That's where I live. There's a lot of developers there. So that would be really great. Yeah, well, lots of IT, lots of developers, but not a lot of blockchain. So they can all be BOScoin developers. when I'm done with them.
Thank you.
No problem. Anybody else have any questions?
We can talk further.
Yeah, we can, well. Okay. Yeah, that's really the end of the presentation. So, if you have any other questions, I mean, I get a card, the pamphlet talking about the platform. Bring a friend next time you go to next time Walter sets up a meetup. Bring a friend. Introduce them to BOScoin.
Yeah. About the car charging thing, I don't
No, about the gas station, the app. Then yeah, more information will be released on that. So I don't really have any more details, but I know that details will be released
Okay.
as the partnership is continued and they have more details they can actually publicly announce. I just don't have a lot of information on that yet.
And is there also a possibility that you can like or incorporate next to IOTA Foundation or something?
But I understand the connection to IOTA because they're doing something with car charging.
Yeah.
But I don't want to talk about IOTA. I have an opinion about IOTA, but it's not good. So,
You work for them and not that.
yeah, I know. I've learned a lot about what they're doing, and I don't have a good opinion of IOTA. But I hardly anybody does, as far as I can tell, except the CEO of the company. He has a great opinion of his own product. So that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't have IOTA, so.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, others do, and I don't wanna make anyone mad because some people are developers. There's lots of projects out there, and a lot of investors. Yes.
For mainnet, you want to stop the coins.
For mainnet, if you want to be a node operator, then you need at least 40,000 BOScoins in a wallet,
Yeah.
right? And you can create a wallet today. And then one thing I'll say about the wallet, when you create one, is because right now we're based on Stellar, you have to have 0.01 BOScoin to open it. So you create the wallet, and you get a public address, and you get a secret seed. Obviously, secret seed is your password, right? Your private key to open it, but it won't open until you have BOScoins in your wallet.
I have all that.
Because it has to be, well, I'm just generally speaking, then it has to be registered, the wallet address has to be registered on the blockchain, and that doesn't exist until you have BOScoin on it.
Right now it's tokennet, so it's.
TokenNet, yes.
We need to swap the coins from tokennet to mainnet.
You won't need to do anything.
Okay.
You just hold them in a wallet. We're in the same addressing format, the same API. The exchanges work on TokenNet. There shouldn't be an issue when we move over to the mainnet. The API should be compatible, at least that's the expectation. Yeah, so you as a user shouldn't have to do anything. You just hold wallet. We released mainnet, and then instructions are published on how to freeze coins. And then if that's like a button on the wallet or what, I don't know yet, because I haven't seen how that's going to work, but I assume it's going to be freeze coins, and then you're done. It should be that simple. From a UI standpoint, right?
Yeah.
It should be that simple. Any other questions about anything? Thank you. Yeah, there's no other questions.
Group photo, it would be nice, right?
You can do whatever.